This one thing can literally destroy your life without you noticing. Everybody wants to know the key to success, the key to a better life, the key to achieving their goals and the rest of it, which is wonderful. But the most important question that has more answers to give you is asking yourself, what can make my life worse than hell? What can make me not achieve my goals? What can stop me from achieving my goals? When you ask yourself these questions, you have a more broader answers to all your questions. I want to be highlighting one of those questions, one of those things that really is very destructive. It makes a lot of people depressed. It takes a lot of people's joy. In fact, it takes people to committing suicide, and it sabotages every effort you put into achieving anything. And if you can take care of this one thing, you can take care of every other problem in your life. And I'm saying it because I've experienced it. I've seen it happen to a lot of people that I love. And I started practicing this little thing I'm going to be sharing with you, and it made a big change. And that one thing is missing your problems with your identity. Your identity and your problems are two different things. For instance, you don't have money, you call yourself broke, and then you associate it with your identity and you call yourself a broke person. You start seeing life like that. Let's say you have an issue with your body, you're not looking so well, you call yourself that way, and that's how your identity goes, and it keeps destroying your mind. That's the reason people think and just say, I just want to end it. And you go commit suicide. It gets to some and they're like depressed, they are down for days, for weeks, for sometimes the rest of their life. Because they don't just know how to separate their identity from their problems. Problems would always be coming every day in your life. It would never end. Right? So you can attach it to your identity. Your identity is you. Your problem is called a project. Right? So for instance, you don't have money. Every other person is making money, but it's looking like, oh, you're just the one that is left out. It's not your identity. It's called a project. So the project is called, how do I make money? That's the project. So instead of you associating it to your identity, like, you have a poor gene or something, you just call it a project. It sounds very simple and unimportant, but this one mindset, if you can adopt it, will transform everything in your life. I mean, whatever you're going through, separate it and call it a project. Instead of associating it with your identity, no, it's a project, right? You're a wonderful person. You have all the potentials. You are alive. You have the greatest gift in the world. And now you have a project, and that project is to make money. So let's say the project is to make $1,000 every single month, $10,000, whichever figure you choose, that becomes a project. So the project becomes, how do I make $10,000 every single month? And that becomes a project you start working on. The problem working on you. And this mindset can change everything in your life. So for instance, you're having a falling out in your relationship. Instead of calling yourself, oh, my relationship is this is how all the men or the women I've been meeting, this is how they treat me, I'm just good for nothing. No, I have a project to work on. And the project is, how do I get better relationships? How do I build a better lasting relationship? And you work on that project by reading, studying, asking questions, putting a system together and solving that problem instead of attaching that problem to your identity. And this one thing has really changed my life, because when I do things and they don't work out, I don't associate and say I'm a failure. I'm not a failure. I'm a successful person. I'm a great man. I have all the potential. I have the greatest gift, which is being alive, right? So, and now I am faced with a project. And that project is how to do XYZ that failed. How do we get it solved? And I get it solved and it's done. And I want you to adopt this mindset, because when you have this mindset, you will never get to a point where you feel like committing suicide, you feel depressed, because everything is external. Every problem is a project. And then it gives you a good frame of mind where you are confident, you're positive, and you have the power to yourself to solve the problem. And the problem is not now beating you down. Now, this is just a small mind shift that can change everything for you. So if you're broke, your relationship is not working, you're not healthy, anything is going on in your life, it's not your identity. It's a project. Now, if you find value from this video, like usual, give it a like and share with someone that needs to hear this, someone that needs to know that their problem is not their identity. A problem equals projects.